All right,
Are you going to lead off our discussion?
I am.
Go for it, please.
All right. Hopefully, commissioners, you've had an opportunity to review the working session packet. So today is the first look at sections of the draft budget. We currently do not have the general ledger full packet for you, but that will be in August. We are still meeting with 3 departments, and that's part of why we have not brought forward the general ledger report for you at this time. We do want to continue to be transparent, so we want to share what we have at this time. So along that line, in the packet, we have shared the capital requests. There is a summary of that on page 13. I don't know if there are any questions on that part. Please note, we are still working with the departments on this. We are seeking clarification on some of these in which, so let's say they would like a large piece of equipment. I'm just gonna pick on the excavator. We're asking questions such as how many hours are on the current piece of equipment? How many years have we had it? What would it cost to lease it? You know, rent it, or however you may phrase that. So we're asking clarifying questions to determine whether it's really in our best interest to purchase or to lease for the need.
Along with that, because I see the, highways always looking for equipment and such, is you could also ask, does a neighboring county have that piece of equipment that we could borrow?
It's not just them, it's also the state.
Yeah, no, I
Yep,
mean,
they're
there's
just
some pieces of equipment that aren't used, but
very often.
yeah.
And again, we are having those discussions, and it's just taking a little more time to do the research. So please note that, yes, it's listed here as the request, but we have not, this is not necessarily the recommendation. So
Of course, the big item is the county, that is the courthouse road, and we're planning to bond for that if we do it.
if we do it,
And I'm assuming that there's nothing else on here is a long enough term investment that it's suggested that we would bond for it, just that one item.
not at this time. Yes.
Well, the public safety emergency, the radio replacement,
Yes.
we haven't had a meeting for a little while, but I know at our emergency communications joint, meetings, they were talking about funding coming through the state to replace some of these 800 megahertz radio systems and everything. So
That
have
must
we,
be really new, because when we met with Ben, he did not allude to any funding.
No,
But we did ask him to go back and evaluate whether we can rent or lease. And again, the intent is to kind of level out so that levy isn't spiking all the time.
right?
And is it really more effective or efficient for us to lease? I don't honestly know the answer to that, but I think he estimated 60 to 70 radios.
Yeah.
And again, you're constantly buying the batteries or et cetera. So we are researching options.
Okay.
But he did not mention the funding, but,
Well, of
That's-
course, as county commissioners mostly serving on that committee, we always try to push for the state because it's a universal system that shouldn't discriminate one county funded and another not for emergency services. So
yeah.
that's our ploy.
Well, hopefully by, the first meeting in August, hopefully Ben will have additional information for us. But just so you're aware, we are asking for the departments, even if they have a replacement plan, such as the highway department for the trucks, we are asking him to update that plan because it's 2020 is the last time it was reviewed. So we are asking to verify that is the 12 years the right amount of time in which we should be replacing. So, more to come on the capital. Any questions on that part before we move on?
one
Yeah.
point, and I know Chris mentioned this would also fall if we did any kind of renovation upgrade to the law enforcement center, that also would be bonded, right?
Correct. Yes. Okay, the next item that we have is the SNAP update. Again, I threw in the latest information that we received as county. And I'm not sure if this is set or if it's just still preliminary. But it looks like we may get a one-time contribution for 2027. And I have to look here. I thought it was.
$92,006.
Thank you. Yes, 92,006. So that will help. However, we still are gonna have a pretty sizable adjustment that we'll need to do for the admin fee and the county share of the benefits. So again, as soon as we get a little more confirmation on that, that'll be part of the more concrete information you'll have in August.
And their estimate, this is like Maxa and AMC, their estimate's kind of higher than your estimate.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yes. But that's exactly why we want to wait a little bit before we say, here's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions on the SNAP information?
Do we have, how many people do we have, clients or people using SNAP? I don't know if I've
Oh,
seen that for a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen it for a while either.
I provided it last year.
It was
but
a
I
few,
don't-
like between 2,000 and 3,000, I think. It
Something
varies.
like that.
yeah.
Maybe if we could get a new.
And they said, they
thought it
used to
was
say it was
4,000.
1,500 households, but it was almost twice as many people. And
We may
there's,
come across that as we
Yeah.
continue here today, but I know that we provided it in the SNAP update previously.
Yeah.
and I've seen it before, I think the Federal Reserve of all places.
Has that?
Have the
tracked
data,
that?
yes.
So we'll make sure we have that for you, and maybe when Jill comes back, she can also, she might have that handy.
Mhm.
Okay,
According to the internet's quick AI response, 2023, 3,176 persons were receiving SNAP benefits in Winona County.
What, 2,300?
3,176.
And that, what month
Does
was
that
that?
include, does it count a child,
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
an adult and a child in a household, everything?
correct.
And that's what month?
That would have been 2023. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was a while.
Been the end of the year, I'm assuming. Okay. Any other thoughts or comments on the SNAP part? Okay, outside agencies, so in your packet, that starts on page 18. I want to note that there are two entities that did not submit their requests. However, we have, you can kind of see it's, in the colored version is yellow. Oh. However, otherwise it's light gray. And so the one is Veterans Memorial, one of the veteran programs, did not submit theirs. Phil, do you remember which one that was?
No, but they said they weren't going to submit that. I can get the exact name. They found it more cumbersome to submit the paperwork for the $90 than it was to
Yeah.
go without.
Yeah, because it's only $800.
Total,
It's
Yeah.
80 or $90 per.
Per
Yep,
memorial.
yep. It used to be 900 last year. Now it's down to 810.
Yeah.
And so now it's down to 7.
I've been asked this question in the past, just recently in the last couple of months. Is there a way to make it such they don't need to apply?
Well, we went through this, actually, the county has went through this a number of years, and I believe at the beginning of your working session, big book, it has the policy and the legal opinion from Carmen Soneman. And I believe the state also chimed in on that. So again, if we're going to properly give money, it has to be through this process. Otherwise, statutorily, the board does not have authority to do that.
Mhm.
It just does, it's sad that it's not worth the 90, the
Well, the
paperwork,
thing
the
is
hassle.
that I think it's been perhaps blown out of proportion a little bit, because really literally for the veterans, they have their form, all they do is take their previous year. Nothing's changed because it's for the memorial services. They just have to change the date, sign it and send it in.
But they have like 9 or 10 of them.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
there are different people involved with each
Yeah.
branch.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not just one person doing it. It could be a collective of one person doesn't mind doing it and the other person's like, yeah.
And we have, Veteran Services has completed the form and sent it to the person and they just won't sign it. So we truly are reaching out, trying to help them.
So the Humane Society is the other one? And are they gonna apply?
So Colleen in finance was spearheading this process for us this year. She reached out to them 2 times via email. I reached out via email and then just yesterday I called. And I'm not getting a return message from the individual responsible for the contact at the Humane Society.
You don't know?
Correct.
So we'll give a little more time, but if we do not receive it for our August proposal, then we will remove it from the request.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't be spending a lot of time trying to give away taxpayer money. If they can't,
Yeah.
if they can't, no, then I just,
And
Well,
again,
you got other
they
things
do-
to
the-
do.
The sheriff does, if the sheriff picked up a stray dog, that's where he would take it. So we are paying for that service, right?
Yeah, we're doing what we have to statutorily. It's this additional funds that we're not mandated to
No,
get.
doesn't the sheriff have a contract though? That's all under contract. Isn't this just
I thought this was
extra?
contract.
This would be the contract.
Okay.
But I'm guessing that if he had a dog, they'd take it anyway.
Well, that's under the statutorily part, because there's 2 sets of money. Yeah. Other questions on the outside agencies? Again, we're not asking for decisions today. We're supplying the information and seeking to understand if you need more information. Or if you need to get back to us, but again, we need time in order to be in contact with the agencies. We tried to include those who did submit their 990s.
Yep.
And again, some entities don't have the 990s, but, so those are included in here. You should have everything here to, base your decision, but if something's missing, please let us know. Again, we'll be looking in August for some direction from the board. Any questions or discussion?
No, I appreciated all the additional paperwork that I went through it. The
Made your
budget,
packet kind of thick.
yeah, the budgets and all that.
And,
stuff.
and you have, I appreciate you put the statutes there that,
If we have to fund it or,
right,
Yep.
what our requirement is.
I think one of the,
Discretion.
one of the big things here is, for me, is just gonna be looking at, the slush fund side. Who's got a lot of reserves and do we need to continue to fund the reserves where we have some necessity things that need to be adjusted to that we can go back and forth. I think that's gonna be a lot of basis in my decision in some of these that we're not just continuing to stack up public funds in any particular sector, especially outside agencies that we're not required to do that. Just we talk about the hardships and everything else and we continue to stack up some of these funds. So I think we need to be conscious of that.
And just a gentle reminder that also on page 18, where we list all of the outside agencies, we also have the general ledger number associated to that off to the side, so that when you do get the general ledger report, you can easily go look for that in there. Okay. So next, just to touch on some assumptions that we made in the budget. So,
You got a particular page you wanna jump to or?
I think
Pam?
it's only in the memo. So that would be, page 10. Bottom board, some assumptions that we made. We do have a 30% increase on the health insurance cost and
Why? That caught my, I mean, you fed us that line last year.
I didn't finish my sentence, Marcia. The reason is because we are doing a request for proposals, right, Mr.
Right.
Sadler?
Yeah, I mean, it's what the initial projection is 16%, but without the, RFP speculation, but
So.
But
we-
who's that great,
Caveira.
Cavera?
Yeah, I mean,
What's the report on,
that-
on that?
it worked very good, about 16 to 20%, which is higher than they've seen. Utilization is really good. I mean, to see that immediate return, but I thought a 16% was admirable. I mean, it's
Did you say
16,
16?
yeah,
Okay.
is what they project.
For participation.
And I think you have a letter saying that
No.
that would keep our rates down to single digit,
No,
don't you?
it's-
Don't you, Todd? Don't you have a letter that said that would keep our rates down to single digits? Took that in writing last year?
He's asking you to forge something.
Yeah,
Okay,
I,
let him
I,
answer.
I did give
Let
blood,
him
you're right.
answer.
But yeah, if I can answer the question. So 16% is what the projection is for our insurance increase. 30% based off the first quarter. Yeah. So we met with the insurance folks 3 weeks ago. So
Is that heavily weighted towards our usage?
it's at our utilization is it's
Utilization.
down a little bit, but it's high. I mean, as you know, being a business owner, that's what drives our insurance is the utilization. So
Is there a couple large incidences again, or is it just overall?
we still have some large incidents, very costly.
So.
And
you
our
know,
numbers, looking at the folks that left, a lot of times you'll see the healthier employees leave, go to their spouses or somebody else's. So doesn't help our numbers either.
So you're estimating 30 in here, you're hoping for 16, and we're not gonna know by the time we set the preliminary levy. We won't know till September.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, our RFP, we should have some end of September, or excuse me, end of August for September.
But they should be able to give us some realistic projections, shouldn't they?
16 is what I have right now.
That's their number to you.
That's their number right now.
So we might, and we might not, we might know by the second meeting in August when we set the preliminary. levy.
Might.
Might not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, especially looking at first quarter, I mean, the thing with our budgetary cycle, when you have one quarter of data and they look at our past data, there's a lot of speculation there.
Unless there's some sort of a documented, something major happens in the end term, we're gonna kind of know it's business as usual even with the higher ones factored in. So we could, I go through this too, so I understand. We can realistically, granted, the budget side for us is a little bit different, obviously it's fluid, but we can kind of count on that number to a certain extent unless there's some major event that comes into play. I mean, I would say that would be
But
relatively.
I mean, I'm on mic and I'm being recorded, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just like Commissioner Ward said last year, I said I would like to get single percent, but anyway,
I'm looking at.
16% is what the
It would take a
business,
major event to probably fluctuate that
it would.
pretty substantially.
yeah.
Right, so we're
Yep.
gonna know if we have that, whether we, obviously we can't disclose what happened, but we can say, hey, we had a couple big things come in. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna push that number where it needs to go.
What does 16% mean dollars and cents
I
increase?
We don't have that.
I don't have that in front of me. I mean, because again, it's just a projection at that point. It was preliminary. If it was a more firm number, I'd be more comfortable giving, what the cost is gonna be.
But what's our rough cost of health insurance for the county? How many million?
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Oh,
with
okay, we
me
don't have-
right now,
okay,
but
that's
it's
what you're saying.
substantial.
And then Kavera is, I mean, just to plug, Kavera is good. I mean, I want to make sure our employees understand that it is helpful. It reduces their cost because of the prescriptions that they can get and also getting the labs at home and some of this stuff. It is a substantial savings for our employees. So I've heard some comments, some questions. I get it, but definitely be willing to sit down with any of you anytime to go over it.
Like 3 million or something?
I think it's higher than 3
Higher
million,
than 3?
because I think our increase alone in health insurance last year was over $1 million.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
we've
thinking
got this
That's
checking.
30. Well, yeah, because that was 30%, so I thought,
Closer to
yeah.
It's
So it could be maybe
in here,
4.
but
Yeah, I did not.
And insurances, it's in alphabetical order.
Sounds like
No.
about
Used more than it-
point and a half, Levy.
Yeah, it is, which is good. And I've heard some really good comments from employees utilizing.
That's only gonna help other employees use it, right? If somebody's like, hey. it
This is
was for
good.
Me,
Yeah.
somebody else will be like, oh, well, maybe I'll. check it out."
Yeah.
Or if we're talking about their events and be like, hey, you know, you could call this.
Yeah.
Be like, no, I deleted the first 20 emails that were sent about it.
I know.
Well, it's it's a little sidelight, but I've seen them advertised lately. It's not Kavera. It's on public TV. It's some doctors pushing some type of little home medical kit that's got a number of different prescription drugs in it.
Yeah.
It sounds, I should call and find out.
Self-prescribe. I don't know,
Lists, you talk about this telehealth and
Yeah,
everything. It
yeah.
lists a number of different conditions like,
Yeah.
even urinary tract infection, kids, ear and such. And then
Yeah.
there's a certain amount of drugs in this kit.
There
that
is.
You buy.
Your augmentin, your other things, but if you're allergic to augmentin, you don't know it, that's where,
Yeah.
but,
I-
telehealth is,
I'll have
yeah.
to write the number down next time and call it.
So in our meeting that was held on May 12th, in that agenda or packet item, the estimated 2027 for health insurance, if we used 30%, was $1.7 million.
That's the total cost of the
The
increase.
increase,
Yeah.
that's in.
which equates to a 6% levy.
So you could,
So again, that
That's
is
a
on the
30%
May
you could
12th
back into
packet in your.
So that was last year,
2027 projection.
2027
Yep,
projection.
I had
Okay.
done, prepared that in May for you.
Okay.
So again, hoping 16%.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're trying, I mean,
Okay. So some other assumptions that we made, for the capital, again, the fleet life cycle replacement, equipment, maintenance, IT upgrades, and again, all of these are under review and facility maintenance. And we'll have more in August for you. The contractual wages and benefit increases, so we just talked about the health insurance. The estimate that was provided again on May 12th for wages, which includes taxes and pension, and again, this is an estimate, is 1.7 million, which is a 6% increase in levy. We will have, again, more updated numbers for you in August.
That fund reserve projections, I mean, we really haven't had to tap into that. We set aside 750,000, I think, in case something needed to happen to the jail or anything like that. So are we looking at some sort of increased projection for the updated fund reserve projections, or is it kind of because we haven't tapped into them status quo? Besides, we use this, I think, some of it, or we use any of that for the hijack?
For the cyber attack, yes,
We use some of it.
yes. So we're gonna have an updated cash reserves, at the August meeting, August 11th.
But I mean, do you think it's substantial? I'm just curious.
I really couldn't tell you, Phil, do you have a handle?
It won't be better than what you saw the last time we talked about reserves because of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, even though I know we used some of that, we also didn't use any for some of the things we actually
Right,
designated some of those reserves for. So we're kind of, and it wasn't near as much as what we said, again, potentially designated for. So I just thought maybe we could, there was a little room there to
Yeah.
recover from.
mhm.
have we filed the first set of paperwork for the first cyber attack, emergency? Like
To the governor?
Yeah, potential.
My understanding per the meeting that the emergency management meeting that we had this morning is that that's gonna be submitted next week.
And then, I don't know, we won't know that and we won't know from the second one.
For a kickback, you mean?
We're gonna
Yeah.
submit both of them at the same time.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And
but we
again,
can-
it's
yeah,
an estimate because we have 1 year to submit additional information.
Sure, and then we potentially could get 75%.
Yeah.
That's what. the
Which
state
is,
would
which
give
is
for-
big, and which, maybe in 27's budget, we don't see the reflection, but in 28's, we can use that as a partial, I guess, refund to the reserve.
Should be offset revenue.
And, yeah. And our 500,000 helps too. So. which is nice.
Yep.
Is that, what's the plan with the 500,000? Where's that going?
So we will be bringing that back to the board for further discussion with your cash reserves discussion. Because you need to look at it from a holistic perspective of, do you want to use it to pay down bond? Do you want to put it into the cash reserves? How do you want to allocate it?
I would, and again, we'll have that discussion, but I would say, I would say do the immediate thing because the bond's set. It's very static. We know what to expect versus trying to just pay that down versus here we can have a direct impact on taxation this year.
What lane are you talking about?
We got a 550,000, 520,000
525,000, which is coming. for
Menards rebate.
A rebate,
No,
Yeah.
the
no,
GO
is this
bond,
the- This is
I was
the,
like, what?
the general obligation bond.
Yeah.
Yep, for the jail,
For the jail, we
property
got a
acquisition,
$500,000 refund.
grant program from the state of Minnesota.
This is the one, oh, I thought that
For
was
the
the
jail.
money that had to do for buying the property under the.
It is,
It is,
Yes.
okay,
it's the same thing.
okay.
But it's all tied into the jail, so.
Yep.
I was glad, I asked Maureen some questions about that. I was glad to hear that we have flexibility. I thought we have to use it to pay down. I'm glad that we have a choice with.
And that, I think, that my goal would be to use it to offset immediate tax, something, put it back in the reserves or something. So, and we might be able to do that to offset the last two attacks and then turn around and get that back and use that as kind of continuance.
And do we know where revenue is in terms of sales tax for paying the debt service?
I did look at that.
Are we ahead or
Because we had a-
behind or?
We're behind.
We're behind. That's
Yep.
not good.
Drastically? 10%,
Um,
5%?
When I did the average, because it was 6 months, excuse me, I have it on my throat. It was for 6 months. Oh, do you have it up there?
No, I don't.
It looked like we were about 200,000 behind.
But is part of that from the delay when it kicked in?
I believe it is, but I
Yeah, because if we go back to the initiation, we had that lag time. So it's gonna show that lag and that'll cost average out as time goes on. So I would think it was just gonna get better as time goes on.
Yeah.
So,
we can
And-
give an update at August 11th on
Great.
that
but
as
you
well.
follow what I'm saying there?
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be
I sure
great.
do.
Yep.
Yes, but we can go over that as part of the whole cash reserves and where do we sit?
Yeah, especially if it's substantial.
Mhm.
I mean, over 100,000, I think, to me is.
Okay, we will make sure that we do
Well,
that.
because it seems like Dave Kramer always, the sales tax for the highway always seems to
His
be
is running
That
low
works
though
out,
too.
yeah, right,
Is
right
it?
at,
His
is
is
it right a little
a
low?
little low again now.
running low,
Okay, all right.
lower than what it
Lower.
has. Let me
Because
rephrase
it-
that.
As long as you're doing one, it'd be good to know both.
Yep.
Because it's 1% and a half cent, right? It's 1 cent and one.
Half and a quarter.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, we can do that. All right. So we already talked about the increase in the SNAP administration fee with the federal allocation. So we are working on a number of initiatives to support stabilizing the levy. And what I mean by that is to look at the things that are causing us to have the spikes, such as purchasing 70 radios at one time instead of figuring out a way not to have that 100,000 hit every 3-4 years. And again, you'll have more of that at the next meeting. I want to make sure that I'm able to give you facts instead of just broad statements. So for the personnel recommendations, we are also targeting the 11th of August to give an update on that. We are reviewing and having discussions with departments about how can we look at this differently? Can we partner across departments? Can we consolidate? What things are we doing that we don't need to do? So a lot of discussion. So hopefully we will be ready with some recommendations on the 11th for you.
Great.
Are we, I've been asked, one of the documents we have on the website, says it's a very old as far as number of people we have. It's like back in 2022, number of employees in one of the financial,
FTEs?
up or are we down?
We're down. Well, it depends from what period of time. So,
Yeah.
Like
but
390.
we do have the latest one. I actually am working with HR to update it for 2027's proposed budget.
Okay, I think the old one was, I didn't go look at it myself. I was told it was pretty dated information. Like
It-
back to 2022, maybe?
I thought we did actually give that not that long ago, but
Okay,
w-
yeah,
we'll provide an
working on getting
updated
that updated. Okay,
FTE. Mhm,
all right,
no problem.
thank you.
But I know that we're down compared to the last 3 years, for sure. Let's see. So the only aid that I'm aware of right now that we are going to have a decrease is the county program aid. And if I recall correctly, is that about 80,000? Is that what you recall, Chris?
I can't remember.
I want to say it was about 80,000 that they were decreasing
Decrease.
for 2027. And again, you're gonna have all of those listed in your packet for August 11th, the ones that we know about. So
Well, they said, I know I sent this to Phil, that there is a 15 million allocation for the state for the act. And that every county would get 100,000 flat, and then there'd be some more on top of that, is what they said. But I suppose the formula is not, that was at least a month ago, because I don't think they had a July meeting, so that would have been.
I
June.
haven't seen anything
Ah,
like
okay.
reassuring that we're gonna get that. So that's why we didn't put it in the budget.
Yeah, okay.
Because we really don't have
Well,
anything
no,
saying,
I mean-
yes, you're going to receive it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as the act, we are working with other Minnesota counties to see what are they doing in reference to hiring additional FTEs, because as you recall, last year, we anticipated hiring at least 3. As of right now, we're working with Health and Human Services and talking with other counties, and whether or not we'll potentially need to ask for 1. But I don't think we're gonna need to ask for 3.
Right.
So again, we'll keep you posted at the next meeting. Okay? There's still a lot of unknowns with the act implementation, just to be completely sure. She's shaking her head, yep. So again, we'll keep you posted as soon as we hear more concrete information.
One thing that makes it, in my mind, less stable and predictable is that there wasn't necessarily concrete changes in the statute as much as giving state agencies authority, and they decide that they were going to change exactly the definition as of 27, what will be our responsibility, so that leaves some uncertainty of.
What's
They're gonna-
considered active?
Right, yeah, right, and who's considered in that pool. So that leaves a lot of uncertainty if they're gonna change their mind again, and what that means, like I've said many times, we're at 95+% of our cases, and now that may not be the case, but then what does that look like?
Okay, let's see. Oh, I did write it down. So the outside agency funding, I just wanted to note that the total being requested is $88,285 above what is current for 2026. And again, it is just so that you're aware that there are some increases noted in there. We already talked about fund reserves and how we'll bring all of that back at the next meeting.
Maureen, in this document, is there a 1-page listing of the current and if there are increases for outside agencies? There's not a,
Agency report?
Yeah.
Yes.
Page 18.
Yep, it's in there.
Right, but didn't that get updated? I probably have the old one. Didn't Heidi
thank
send
you.
out something was changed?
That's the pages behind that.
Okay,
Spreadsheet
okay.
that were updated because
okay.
the formatting
Gotcha,
covered
but
over.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what my form says here.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you look at the Historical Society had an
Mhm.
increase in their request.
Yes,
Along with SWCD.
Yep.
The
And senior
Senior
advocacy
Citizen
services.
Advocates,
Like
League
that.
Winona.
yep. Mhm.
some CAC.
Oh, that's.
Some CAC didn't change. Oh, it did 8 grand.
Yeah.
Yep, sorry.
Thank you. I missed that one earlier.
Okay. Let's see. So just to kind of reiterate as far as the initiatives that we are looking at, so we are updating and creating capital replacement plans where there are or were none, are none. And updating the ones that are currently in place. We are reviewing the fleet utilization and leasing versus purchasing. We're reviewing the procurement improvement and potential cross jurisdiction partnerships. We are reviewing human services budgeting enhancements to better capture revenue. And again, all of these will bring information forward if there's a recommendation to move on them. The motor pool usage evaluation and major purchase cost effectiveness, we're looking at that. development of an annual grant utilization plan. And what I mean by that is to maximize our grants prior to using levy money. And to be paying special attention to the timing of when you must use those funds, otherwise we have to give them back or repay. So, or we lose them altogether. So, we're just trying to be more, conscientious of those timelines and maximize those grants.
We might have given back that DNR grant for the pavilion, but I mean, are there other grants where we didn't spend it in time and had to give it back?
Mm-hmm. There are.
Really?
There's not a lot, but the point being is we've gone through the trouble to obtain
Yeah.
the grant. We need to have a plan and a process in which we can maximize that and use it before diverting to levy. Yep. We're also reviewing contracts, renegotiating where we can and targeting where we can outsource. So those are all things that we're working on. It's not a complete list, but I have to give a hats off to all of the individuals who have worked on the budgets. They're doing an awesome job. Phil, did I miss anything that you wanna?
No, just that, again, this has been an ongoing process. We started this beginning of, or middle of May. Had a majority of our meetings wrapped up, around the, beginning of July, they were done. And we still have some, that we're meeting with, and it's tough to wrangle cats, when they're on vacation sometimes and when, people are gone during the summer months here. So there's, there's a reality of not having time to meet with the folks that make the decisions around their department's budgets.
Any questions from the board or things that you would like to see that we haven't noted that we'll be bringing forward at the next meetings?
Yeah. Not off the top of my head. Well, I've got some, but they'll come to fruition as needed.
That's all we have for this meeting.
Well, if we're done that early, then, can you,
See, yeah.
we had asked questions at two different meetings at least about the license center. About possibly looking at questions like, can we require that they operate in Winona County, et cetera? Has anyone had a chance to work on that information?
That research has already been completed.
Okay.
So we can bring that back at the next meeting.
Good. I'm going to propose something that I realize normally county boards shouldn't do. The act, the bill that's so long that no one even knows what it is anymore. So we just call it the act. That is, correct me if I'm wrong, like a clear example of unfunded mandate, right?
Yep.
The state wants it. It's a good idea in theory, but if you want it, then pay for it. Is there anything that we could do to, like, I'm just thinking out loud, this is not well thought out, I own that, is don't allocate any funds for additional costs and don't do it until state funds us at the full level required. I think if we started, other counties might follow.
We're gonna get, that would, as the person that does the child protection,
Mhm.
I would never advise that team to break the law. They would literally be breaking the law by not making active efforts for the groups that the state says we have to make active efforts for.
I hear you, but I'm not saying not do anything, just not do the additional work.
But that's what they're meant.
And the new statutes would be.
Yeah, the new statutes are saying instead of doing reasonable efforts, you need to do active efforts. And
What's the penalty?
And
Is a statute a law or is it a highly recommended procedure?
the
that you
statute
follow?
is the law, that the statute and law mean the same thing in the state of Minnesota. Additionally, okay, a scenario that could happen is the court's gonna dismiss it. These kids that need protection are not gonna get protection, and that's who Winona County should, in my opinion, want to protect the most, is the children that need the protection. They're not gonna get protected. We're gonna, even if the court says, okay, the county board says you don't need to do this, so I'm gonna let you not do this, the Court of Appeals isn't gonna allow that to happen. Like that, and I cannot advise the social workers not to follow the law.
Good points. I'm just thinking of something to make it crystal clear how this is an unfunded mandate. This is all being dumped. Almost, except for, in the transition years and Hennepin and Ramsey got, seed money. But yeah, I hear you. And I don't want those, but I don't know what to do. Representative Jacob contacted me, sent emails to a dozen lawmakers and they all gave me the robotic responses and I understand I'm not in their districts. I was trying to get try and get a couple of DFLers to vote.
They don't they don't even understand what they passed or what the ramifications are of this for their local.
Right. Good idea, but fund it
Right.
or take it away.
I know, AMC is really working on trying to, narrow this down. In fact, the other, last weekend I was in the metro area and Scott Schulte, he was president of AMC a number of years ago. He was being interviewed by, I think it was KSTP, one of the things about all the unfunded mandates that the legislature has put on county governments. And of course, Anoka County is on a whole different playing field, but he reiterated the act, yes, how it not.
So just to reiterate, again, we are in contact with other counties and there are counties who are not putting additional FTEs in their budget or adding additional monies. They're not saying they're not going to comply with the law. What they're saying is they're not going to increase their levy. And again, I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what some of the counties are doing. But anyway, I'm not following that path. I'm actually looking at what can we do to comply with the law and only hire what we need. So, but to get to the other comment, Commissioner Bagley on the License Center. So on the March 24th working session, that License Center information is in your packet. It's on the very first page of packet 1. And I don't know if you want me to read it, but it's right in your packet, March 24th, packet 1.
But that's where I have the questions from, but there were some follow-up questions like, can we require it to be located in Winona County and can we take it back? But maybe, unless that was added, maybe it was added later. Those were the questions that came after the meeting.
Okay, so I know that we can't require it to be in Winona County because it has to be within the criteria that the state establishes, but they assured us that it would stay within a certain parameter, like so many miles. But okay, I'll follow up on that, Wayne.
Thank you.
But I know that we did the research on it.
Okay, thank you.
But back to one of your concerns, and I Googled here, yeah. A statute is a law, but not all laws are statutes. So, yeah, there's confusion there. But it used to be the legislature, when they did these things, there had to be a fiscal note with.
Right.
It was required, and I
Yep.
think they've totally avoided their responsibility to put fiscal notes with these statutes. And so do we make them follow their own rules? I don't know that, was that statutory or was that just a highly recommended practice that they seem to have totally
A
avoided?
lot of that funded for 2 years, drop it, now it's your responsibility.
Yeah, all that
Do
too.
that all the time and sounds great until they cut the funding.
Agree.
I mean, arguably, we're all paying for it anyway. It's just.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and adjourn the budget working session.
Then we're done until 6.
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Start our meetings with a public comment period. So if any of you are here in the audience and want to make some statements, please come forward. I guess we're going to have a presentation first from the sheriff.
Short one. 2 minutes here. I invited Jennifer Lavala to come to tonight's meeting. I have a letter here I'd like to read and then give to her. It's a letter of commendation to Jennifer Lavala, PSAP supervisor. The most difficult part of writing this letter was recognizing 13 years of exceptional service on one page. Jennifer Lavala began her career as a dispatcher with the Winona County Sheriff's Office in 2014 and was promoted to dispatch supervisor in 2017. Throughout her career, she has built a reputation of someone people can depend on, whether serving as a dispatcher, supervisor, emergency response team negotiator, or leading major county projects. Jennifer has consistently stepped up whenever she was needed. Her departure will be a significant loss to Winona County Dispatch Center and the agencies it serves. As both a dispatcher and a supervisor, Jennifer was someone deputies looked forward to hearing on the radio. We knew she would remain calm under pressure, communicate clearly, and do everything she could to help. Whether it meant tracking down additional information, making another phone call, or finding an answer to a problem, Jennifer always went the extra mile. She had a way of making a difficult job look easy. Even after becoming dispatch supervisor, she continued to work dispatch shifts when staffing was short, something rarely seen by administrators. One of the best examples of Jennifer's leadership can be seen during National Public Safety Telecommuters Week. Every year, she puts an incredible amount of time and effort into making sure her employees were appreciated. From creating themes and decorating the dispatch center to putting together personalized posters for each dispatcher and providing snacks, drinks, and treats throughout the week. She goes far beyond what anyone would expect. Others should strive to match the level of commitment Jennifer brought to her role. Jennifer has played a vital role in several of the sheriff's office's most significant challenges and projects. She led the coordination of our Central Square implementation involving multiple law enforcement agencies and guided the dispatch center through 2 county cyber attacks, quickly developing solutions that allowed public safety operations to continue with minimal disruption. On behalf of the Winona County Sheriff's Office, thank you, Jennifer, for your 13 years of dedicated service, your hard work, leadership, and willingness to always step up. It'll make a lasting difference. The improvements you made to the dispatch center and the example you set for those around you will continue to benefit Winona County for years to come.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Miss you. Thanks.
Continue in a part-time role. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to share some thoughts with us during the public comment period? If so, please come to the microphone and tell us your name and address. And please try to limit your comments to 2 minutes.
Good evening, Chelsea Wilbright, Wiscoy Township Auditor Treasurer. I have a few comments today. The first one is that at the next board meeting, you guys will be selecting the 2 commissioners that need to serve on Canvas board. Canvas will be held August 14th, so I'm just giving you a heads up in advance because it's only just a few days after the next board meeting. For the primary Canvas board, any of you can be on there since none of the ones who are running needed a primary. So anybody can do that. When we get to November, that won't be the case. The next item was, I was recently quoted in the Post concerning the gravel on 19. While I did say that the gravel was safer, my comment was more pointed to the disrepair of the paved portion between between I-90 and where the pavement ends. There's a cone in the road at one point. And yes, the gravel was safer during the winter times, but that's less to do with the paved versus gravel than it is that all of that gravel is surrounded by woods. So that was the end of that second point. Just wanted to give you an update.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to participate in public comment?
My name's Mariah Montgomery, and I'm a Winona resident. I'm also a person in recovery, and I'm speaking as the president of the Foxhole Discovery Board of Directors. There's a few of us here tonight. We want to introduce ourselves and give some faces to our name, and to give an idea of what this work looks like on a human level. 2 minutes isn't enough to tell you everything about who we are, but we're going to start here. September 5th will mark the beginning of our 4th year that the Foxholes serve the recovery community in Winona. by walking out our mission to support, educate, empower, and guide people in recovery and the community. We support and guide the community by developing personal connections through recovery support meetings, providing a safe, sober environment for all, and encouraging one another and sharing our lived experience. We empower our Foxhole friends by providing volunteer and community service opportunities through committees and facilitation of our space, and offering accountability, growth, and self-discovery opportunities through our programming. We currently offer Tai Chi and meditation, 12-step support meetings, pizza and game night, and my personal favorite, Operation Gratitude, a meal for milestones, where we share a meal together and have a beautiful gratitude meeting that celebrates the accomplishments of our Foxhole family members and new friends each month. Over the years, Persons in Recovery have offered many different programs through our organization, including grief support group, criminal reentry group, Bible studies, yoga, and other things. And we've also participated in tabling events in the area, and we have relationships with other organizations like the Winona Rivertown Lions Club, Winona County Treatment Court, Hiawatha Valley Mental Health Center, and Ripple Drug Education and Awareness. We've served over 100 different addicts since we opened our doors, and many of which have sustained their recovery and found a family in the Foxhole. Those that have been in and out of our doors over the years have come back to our space during their darkest moments because they know that Foxhole provides a safe place where we accept them, forgive them, and will love them until they learn to love themselves. We're more than a community, we're truly a family, and we've seen so many addicts find a new way to live, build their lives back up, reunite with their families, find connection, recovery, and purpose. Thank you for your time and your leadership.
Thank you.
If there are other folks in the audience, please step forward.
Hello, my name is Rick Montgomery. I'm also a resident of Winona. Some of you may know me as the state of Minnesota versus Richard Lee Montgomery, because I have quite a past. But I am now an addict in recovery and a Foxhole board member. I'm here to help show what this work looks like on a human level by sharing the impact Foxhole has had on my life. When I was in active addiction, I left a trail of broken trust behind me. I spent years burning bridges and hurting people I loved. We call it recovery because often when we get clean, we start to get the things back that we lost. Unfortunately, we can't recover every mistake or fix every relationship from our past. I've spent the last 7.5 years recovering many things, including reinstating my license, getting my children back in my life. We bought a house, and I even built a landscaping business. Some things I won't be able to recover, but I have found that service in my recovery is a gift. I get the opportunity to make living amends and commit to showing up differently today than I did yesterday. That's what the Foxhole gives me, and so many others, the opportunity to do. The Foxhole gives me an outlet to serve and give back to the recovery community that saved my life. It gives me a safe, non-judgmental space where I can walk through the doors, be completely honest about who I am, and feel a true sense of ownership and accountability. Recovery isn't just about stopping a behavior, it's about learning a whole new way to live. At the Foxhole, those of us who have walked through the dark give back by being available for the person who is still struggling. My past is no longer the source of my shame. It's the tool for helping someone else heal. The Foxhole is a place where everyone is valued, where we share our experience, strength, and hope. The Foxhole isn't just a building. It saves lives. It's an outlet for service and a space for community healing. Supporting spaces like this doesn't just save individuals' lives, it restores families and strengthens our entire city. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
If there are other folks, please come to the microphone. Tell us your name and address and share your thoughts with us. And individuals who are online can also participate. You should be able to unmute yourself and just say something to catch our attention. I will ask 2 more times. If there are folks here in the audience that would like to share their thoughts with us, please come forward. And for the final time, is there anyone here in the audience or online that would like to participate in public comment? Seeing no one, hearing no one. Public comments closed, we'll move on. We have some minutes that we could approve.
So move.
I'll second that.
Okay, Commissioner Elsing has moved, Commissioner Veglia has seconded approval of the county board minutes from the July 14th, 2026 meeting. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If anyone's opposed, please say nay. Okay, motion carries. County Attorney's Office, Assistant County Attorney, do you have any adjustments to the agenda? No. Commissioner Vagley,
A few comments at the end, please.
Commissioner Elsing,
Comments at the end, please.
Commissioner Olson,
Nothing for me.
and Commissioner Ward.
I'd like to poll for a separate vote, 6.3.
Okay, should we make that 7.01?
Okay, and then a possible comment at the end, please.
Okay, Administrator Holte, do you have any adjustments to the agenda?
Nothing, Madam Chair.
Okay, so we have a slight adjustment, and I guess the next order of business would be to approve the agenda as it was amended.
So move.
Second.
Okay, so Commissioner Ward moves and Commissioner Elsing seconds approval of the agenda with the amendments. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If anyone's opposed, please say nay. Okay, then agenda is approved. Administrator Holte, could you read the consent business for the record?
6.1, approve renewal of DocuSign contract. 6.2, approve State of Minnesota 2026-2027 cooperative agreement for treatment court funding. 6.3 was pulled. 6.4, approve resolution for donations received April 1st through June 30th, 2026. And 6.5, confirm payment of disbursements.
I'll move to approve the consent items.
Second.
Hey, Commissioner Vagley moves, Commissioner Elsing seconds approval of the consent business as it was read. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Please say nay. Okay, consent business is approved. We move on to item 7.01, previously 6.3, approve the ASKS P65 labor agreement for 2025 through 2027.
I did pull this because again, I know we're working on it, the pay for performance concept. And I do have a question on the insurance, the amount that we are contributing the county share. Is that being consistent across all labor? Okay, so it's not anything different. It's consistent. It does keep increasing, the portion that the county is paying, but and we had a discussion earlier about the cost of insurance, and it's a major budgetary item. So, okay, thank you.
Mention.
Commissioner Vagley and then you, Commissioner Elsing.
Just to get it formally on the table, I'll move to approve item what had been formerly 6.3.
I'll second that and thank the members of AFSCME and management for bringing this forward.
Commissioner Elsing?
Yeah, I just gonna agree with Commissioner Ward. I knew she was gonna pull this, so I just let it go. But I agree too for the pay for performance and very thankful for everything that's here. But again, I think it needs to be a strategic part of how we work with our labor force. So I'm gonna, obviously agree with Commissioner Ward on this one.
So Commissioner Vagley has moved, Commissioner Olson has seconded approval of the ASME 65 labor agreement from 25 to 27. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Ward?
No.
You.
can't.
I was- I said aye. I was-
We got it on tape. Come on.
I thought you were gonna leave me hanging here.
No, that's right.
It's me there.
I have a question for our count.
Okay, well, let's finish the vote.
Yeah, finish.
Those who oppose, please signify by saying nay.
Nay.
Hey,
Okay, thank you. The motion passes 3-2. Did you have an additional question?
yeah, I do have an additional question and I can direct it to Assistant Attorney Rebecca Church. How many other counties are county attorneys in a union in the state of Minnesota? Is this common or are we an exception to the rule? And again, I don't expect an answer right now. Maybe you can just research it. And I find it attorneys, on a different,
They don't
hopefully
deserve-
a higher level.
Deserve union?
Well, I don't understand why they feel they need a union. I guess it's a different profession. It's not But anyway, she can research that.
I mean, we have not always been in a union.
No, you have not. And and people across the state of Minnesota, that realize that Winona County probably has more union representation than any other county.
We have 10
So,
unions, and I
yeah.
bet there's only a handful of people not in a union.
Right, right. And in many counties, there are only like 3 or 4 unions, and it makes their job different than ours. So, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Item 7.1 is to receive an update on the Law Enforcement Center Planning and Feasibility Study. And there is also a request for approval of a professional services agreement with Klein McCarthy Architects for the same. Are you leading us off, Administrator Holte?
In conjunction with Mr. Lefebvre.
I
You wanna
see him,
come
I
up?
saw him in the back, and this item is on page 173 of our packet.
Yes.
Starts on page 173.
Good evening. Aaron Lefebvre, Winona County Fleet Building Superintendent. Looking to bring forward tonight a contract with Klein McCarthy to conduct a study on space needs within the county, mostly the LEC and with some with the county office building. In that contract, there are 2 options. Option 1 would be if Winona PD would stay, and option 2 would be if they vacate the premises, and then we would have extra space there.
I apologize.
Yep.
What page?
173.
On 173.
173.
And the document from Klein McCarthy actually starts on 214.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's, okay, that's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
In that study, we would also look at some of the buildings that we leased, like the WIC and the License Center, to see if we would have room to bring those back for some cost savings in the future. Then also on the second, there's an option 1, then there's a part 1 and a part B. 1 would be just for the space study, more or less, to see how it would fit in the building. Then that second part would be more of the HVAC, the design and everything else, and then we would get cost of what that remodeling and renovation would be to do those options.
Questions? Commissioner Nelson? And then Commissioner Begley?
Yeah, we could have a whole conversation about all this and where it's going. I guess there's a couple things that, one of the options that I'm looking at is maybe an option C that might not be on here, but have we ever determined, is there room for both the city, the county, and potentially a license center or something else to incorporate in there besides just the 2 things? You know, like IAB, could there be a combination of a C in here that if we're going to spend this money, can we throw a 3rd caveat in there that says how much space do we really need? We have some leftover space that isn't being used right now. Could that accommodate another entity of the government that we could wipe out another expense? For example, the license center or, you know, the public health boardroom, whatever it is. So.
May I?
Yeah, Mr.
If you look on page 174, under additional county planning goals, those are some ideas that we're saying could potentially work in that space.
Yeah, in the right, you know, going off from that, can that be built in? Because I would think that it wouldn't take a whole lot if we're really researching both sides, that we could have some sort of a conclusive answer in that 50,000 which I think is wise money spent. You know, making sure that we're not setting some sort of precedent that, hey, we're not creating an ultimatum or a timeline or anything like that. We're just moving forward with what we need to do. But I would be interested to see, I would hate to do the first 2 and then find out, oh, by the way, maybe we could we throw that in on the deal? And even if it's another 5-10% to make that happen, I would love to see that information.
Sort of assumed it was included, so I'm glad you asked.
No, it's set up for these, from what I read, it's set up for the 2 options, although there are some of these other ones, but I would like to see an option 3 potential of having potentially all 3 of them. So.
Commissioner Begley, and then you, Commissioner Ward. Did you want to respond?
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, then it's Commissioner
So
Begley.
to get the topic on the table officially, I'll make a motion to approve both studies, both 1 and 2. We need to move fast. There is still time, but there's not much time left. And I strongly believe that's what's best for the taxpayers and what's best for the services is to keep the county and city together. But we need to gather this information quickly before it's too late in terms of the decisions that the city council is moving. I think it's important for them to have this information before they cross the Rubicon, they cross the point of no return. But I think it's important that they have this information, and I agree with Commissioner Alzine. Along with it, we should look at other possibilities as well.
Commissioner Ward and
I need a second, I guess.
I'll second that.
Okay.
And then Ms. Church also
They
wanted
have
to
to
jump
come
in.
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
Commissioner Ward had
Um,
asked for the floor first, but yeah.
Right. So, I read the newspapers too, and I see what the city council is proposing, and I do have some compassion for city residents. You're already paying for the jail.
Thank you, Marty.
Yeah, you're already paying for the jail. We are all paying for the jail. I won't have to pay for anything the city decides to do. I do not live in the city, and unless they do some kind of outreach tax beyond their borders, I don't think that's legal. But I will not be paying for anything that the city wants to do. And I find it's unfortunate for the citizens that, I did read an article where, one of our neighboring towns, what town or something,
Mhm.
they're doing something and by their funding mechanism, it goes on a referendum,
Mhm.
which I'm a very strong proponent of referendums. Let the people decide, let the people express and decide. Unfortunately, the city of Winona doesn't feel they need to do that, or they're using some other funding mechanism through the Port Authority or something that doesn't allow that. So I find it unfortunate for the citizens of the city of Winona. The one thing that, these architect companies, they're trying to do their, create their legacies. How can we emphasize that we want to do it with minimal, can we use the space the way it is? Do we have to move every wall, paint every wall, remove every piece of asbestos, change everything and such? I had business buildings and we made do with what we had because it costs a lot of money. I had a house that, 4 kids, we rearranged the furniture and made it work. I just see when public entities go in to remodel or something, it seems always to get blown to a higher scale than I'm comfortable with. So what can we use best by just, leaving maybe some parts that are there like they are today? We don't have to, change everything in that footprint. I mean, I think there's usable space. I mean, you talk about storage in here somewhere, it's, that we need storage. Well, I don't think you need to remodel and make it, pretty for storage. So how do we create that? I understand we have to spend the money. It's a lot of money. But how do we tell them to keep it to a reasonable minimum? We don't need a palace. We need a functioning, safe, yes, heating, air conditioning, and those types of things. But it always seems like they get blown up a little bit, and I'm not for that. So I don't know how we relate that to, I'm sure the Klein McCarthy people, I've seen them a number of times at our conferences and they know where I stand. I don't know if the whole board stands there, but I don't mince words with them. I say, you guys are just building too many palaces around the state of Minnesota, and they have there's a lot of business. So I do understand the need to do this, but I just want to minimize what we do, but yet make it efficient.
Attorney Church, I'm gonna let Administrator Holt, you respond to that, and then you can have the floor.
Okay, thank you. So I wanted to touch base on Commissioner Elsine's comments. On page 215 is where it actually elaborates into considering any of the departments to move into that building or into the COB. So it leaves it open for how can we best utilize the space? So I just wanted to note that's written right in the agreement.
We could pass it the way it is and.
Yes.
I elaborate on
Go
that.
ahead.
You might as well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it isn't I was aware that it's a possibility, but I think some of the design concept is what I want to see in this $50,000. I don't want to wake up and say, we got to do this again, because now we decided to add something into it. So I'm trying to maximize the dollar out of this $50,000 to give us as many design opportunities in this so that we've got another 33% more options that we can pick from depending on, this. The other thing that I want to make very clear is that although I can appreciate the time frame, but yet we don't want to use it as, hey, we're moving past it. I mean, it could be misconstrued as though we are moving quickly, which means now could create the narrative that, well, the county's moving past us, they're moving on whether we're here or not. So I don't want to create this as a dialogue that we're moving past the city. I think this is a continued effort that we're working with the city But we are also exploring the options because we don't have control of what that municipality decides to do. So I just want to put that on record very clear that this is not an attempt to circumvent that. This is an attempt for us to say, we've got some major projects. We're aware of these. Administrator Holby and I talked about, we had set aside a pretty large funding source in case we had an emergency in that building, say the HVAC, et cetera, which, fortunately we haven't had to do. So there is an essence of time on our behalf. There's an essence of time on behalf of the municipality for Winona. But again, I want to stretch every dollar we can and and my ultimate goal would be to get not only our force in there, but their force, but also consolidate another service, which is a obvious tax savings, to our savings to our taxpayers. So I think that's a crucial part, and I'd like to see that in there. So not just as an option, but planning for that. So
Attorney Church.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask questions, but like, do we know the city is gonna wait for this time? They are clearly moving.
Yep.
They appear, based on what I heard from their meeting, they have a concept of what they believe that Winona County believes, if we're spending the money on doing this, do we know that if that's what we decide they're gonna still wanna do it, or have they already said no?
As far as I understand, and someone could correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Holte or maybe Ms. Sheriff Ganrud, they have not reached a point of no return. This could be a very important information that might change the direction of their future votes. They're definitely taking steps towards building a joint fire police department, a single brand new building, a large building. I agree with you that we should make clear, no underground parking, no, shooting range. And yes, and to Commissioner Elsing, the reason I made the motion is to both proposals to make it clear that we do want to state that I believe the best service for the taxpayers and for the people who work there is to keep them together. So we need to move fast though, because I was hoping that we could, it is what it is. I hope we can get this information to them. It's not guaranteed it will change their decisions, but I think this additional information might help some city council members with their future votes.
But at the last city council meeting last week, they said 30 days from that meeting, they wanna plan. This is what I recall, and I personally think it would be great even for like county attorney's office, if they're all in one building, that's super helpful, but I also don't want to spend a lot of money if they have already said no.
If I thought it was too late, I wouldn't make the motion. It's definitely going to be cut in close.
Commissioner Elsing, and then you, Commissioner Ward.
yeah, I don't believe there's going to be much of a discount, if we throw out one of the options, because for the most part, the HVAC is going to cost us so much. I mean, there's just a certain set of things. It's kind of like a front door. And I own real estate all over. The front door in this costs the same, whether it's 100,000 square feet or 10,000 square feet. A front door is a front door, right? So I believe that's the way it's going to be. And under that same pretense is why I think we can get a third option in there. So I sure in tech, for the means of saving $5,000-$10,000 in this case, that might throw out one of the options to explore. I think it's well worthwhile to keep this in there. And in fact, focus on trying to pack more into it. So I'd hate to discount this out, not at least having an option if we're gonna move through with this type of money. And really, it's money in the grand scheme of things. Yes, everybody knows I'm a tight German, but I think when it comes to these types of projects, this is a very wise investment. So,
Commissioner Ward.
It's been a while since I've walked through that.
and I got one more.
Structure.
I didn't finish.
Now the jail,
Sorry.
That's okay.
now that the jail is totally operating and the dispatch is operating, I personally would like to take another walkthrough just to get an idea. So when these architects come with these plans, or even when, I don't know how they approach it, but maybe walk through with architects and get a flow for the building again. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've been through there. I'd like to conceptualize it in my mind, what we want them to come up with and what we think might work. So I don't know about the rest of you, and if we need a group tour, we just do it individually. I don't want to use a lot of people's time, but if a couple of us want to go at a time or something, if people are interested, because I don't remember exactly how it all looks like and how it could flow together today. From when
I
they
would go
did it.
with you, yeah. And I apologize, I cut Commissioner Elsing
Oh,
off.
that's okay. He was just rambling.
Just rambling, yeah, just rambling about money. Don't worry about
Funny,
it.
it's funny. As far as the city, though, the city is still faced, police, sheriff, they're still faced with the fire situation. And I understand that to be as big of a concern because the trucks don't fit in the buildings and stuff like that. So they're still gonna have to deal with a fire situation, again, to my knowledge. I mean, we don't even have fire hydrants out in the county. That's what people thought, we had fire hydrants in the Black Horse Burn. Why didn't you hook up to the fire hydrant? People, we don't have fire hydrants in the rural county. So I guess they're probably gonna spend money anyway, I mean, on some of their infrastructure. I don't know how that'll change, what that would change, if they would decide to stay and go with this, how that would change the complexity of their decision-making, I have no idea. They were here earlier, we should have asked them.
You know what? I guess we need to control what we can control, and that's all good information, nice to have. We can speculate all we want. At the end of the day, we just prepare for what it is that we need to do. But I do want to piggyback off Commissioner Ward is that, I mean, I want this to be safe. I want it to be a good facility. I want it to be functional. And I think we focus on functional, you know, and we've got a lot of things, the courthouse roof, we got a lot of things coming at us. And, you know, so, you know, concur with what Commissioner Ward, and how can we make sure that we have the need to haves and make sure that we are skeptical or careful of the nice to have type scenarios to make sure that we control this thing on a budget aspect. I don't know how you put that into place other than just oversight from management. And, you know, even just, I guess, if we had a tour through it, I would be nothing more than just anybody else that might have an opinion, right? But I would suggest that we go down that road just for the sake of, this is going to be heavily scrutinized by the public, and we need to create the narrative of what we're trying to do. And again, just making sure that the city understands we are not circumventing, we are preparing, and we still welcome them to be part of this. So
Are we ready to vote? Okay, Commissioner Begley has moved and Commissioner Olson has seconded that we go ahead with this study, including both options. And in addition to that, the comments from Commissioner Elsing that are covered in here about other potential scenarios in there.
well, before we vote on this, it is, I guess, your original motion. This is why I might not vote for this, because I really wanted a third one on the docket as part of this. And can we make that happen under this guise? In other words, it's not going to happen if we make this motion, because technically we're only voting for two things, option A and option B, for McCarthy to do it. So that's the issue. Now, I don't want to delay it, but at the same time, I kind of want that information. So I don't know, this might just be an ask of them. Do you see where I'm going with it? We got a bit of a dilemma. We got a time versus, I think a critical part of this is the third part of this, that I wished our conversation would have happened not at 8:30 last night. So, but it kind of dawned on me this morning, like, hey, there's a third part of this. Why aren't we looking at this?
So I assumed that was included in the first two proposals, but just make it more clear. I would I would accept a friendly amendment.
Dean.
I would make a friendly, accept a friendly amendment that my motion would be is to approve both studies and make sure that we also include a study of, how do you want to frame it?
All three of them, you know, the potential for three.
Including other county functions, even if the PD stays.
Right. Including a
Just
possibility.
is written as an option, but are they actually going to do it? Are they actually going to give us something that has a conclusive answer that, yes, you would have X amount of space to bring in, you know, I'm just using this as an example, 1,000 square foot of fill in the blank.
So, right, so the motion would be to approve both studies and to ensure that other county operations are also.
Well, at least give us an idea of what we potentially could go in, and then we can do a cost segment on, hey, we have 2,000 square feet to work with. What do we think we can put into this? Is that big enough for the license center? Is that big enough for a boardroom? Is it, you see where I'm going to that? I don't want to lose sight of that. So, and I want that to be part of this, so we know what our option three, even if we can't make it formal, I don't want it to just be, well, we didn't, that's not in this study, because then now we got to start all over again. So.
Oh, no, it is.
Did you, Administrator Oldie, did you still want to make a comment? Otherwise, it's Commissioner Olson.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I believe it's outlined in the scope of the project.
But are they gonna,
as written.
I realize it's in there as an option, but it's not what we're actually, we're making a motion for these people to give us back a definitive amount of information, which is the two things that are on the line.
Number 3, they will meet with the building superintendent to determine space needs for additional departments.
Yeah, but that's under option 2.
It's not defined out as option 2. That's what I'm worried, is that we're not gonna get back the report and they're gonna say, hey, that wasn't a part of this agreement.
Commissioner Olson, as the seconder to the original motion, would you accept the friendly amendment to explore both options and to ensure that both studies look at all county functions?
County functions, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Second twice.
Okay, good job.
More
All right, is there
A
other,
little more clear.
is
Thank
there
you.
further discussion?
Thank you.
Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of this motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Item 7.2.
Thank you, Aaron.
So
Yes.
just,
Yeah, please go
so
ahead.
it does, it does say here, and again, I'm trying to figure out a timeline, they're gonna meet with the building department, meet with the sheriff's office. I want them to know our concerns, if they meet with, and I think you know what our concerns are, but I think we should have their attention earlier than later before they start putting all these things on paper and pencil, what we want them to accomplish for us. So I don't know if that can just be a Zoom meeting, and I don't know how this all, timeline works. But I would like to, express these concerns before they start putting paper and pencil. and
Yeah.
We want to
drawing.
minimize the cost.
Right.
Yes, we also need to move fast, so this could possibly impact the city council's decisions, which are moving fast.
Mr. Lippy and I can make sure that's communicated.
Thank you.
Okay, who's gonna be the key from Klein McCarthy? Do we know? Do we know an individual?
Scott Fettig.
Okay, I see him, president. All right, maybe I'll give Scott a call.
Reminded me, you're only talking to him as an
Yeah.
individual,
Yeah.
not as a board.
Yeah, okay.
'Cause
All right, so moving on to
I
item
want windows.
7.2. Well, I want them to do it, yeah. Item 7.2, discuss potential Selco presentation on the distribution of library funding and to discuss the potential of freezing the Selco funding at the 2026 level for our next 2027 budget year. Commissioner Veggie, do you want to kick us off?
I'd like to make a motion to get it on the table. We'll see where it goes. I'd like to make a motion to,
Both parts or
it'll be a multiple part motion.
both parts?
Motion to set the Selco rate at the 2027 to 2026 level. So freeze the library funding. And then do we need a motion to have, the presentation's already in the works for August 11th, correct?
Well, we had conversation that would work for them, but
Okay.
Yeah.
the board didn't make the final decision. That's why it's put on the
Yeah.
agenda for you to make that decision.
Okay, I'd like to make the motion to freeze the funding for next year at the 2026 level and to have the Selco presentation tell us about how the funds are and how the services are provided.
Second.
Commissioner Vagley approves having the presentation and freezing the funding, and Commissioner Olson seconds it. Is there further discussion?
I guess I just need a little clarification. You're saying it can't go above that, but we've still got a lot of things to figure out on this budget before we decide anybody to same less, more or anything. So to me, it's a little premature to make these decisions unless it's just simply saying we're not going to go above it. It could be that or less. In fairness to all the other outside candidates, agencies, again, this isn't a motion to say yes or no to any library funding, but I'd have the same discussion on anybody coming through to try to make a decision prior to the budget, I guess. So just a little clarification on what the motion actually is.
The motion is to freeze it at the 2026 levels
Not
No
go-
discretion.
And not go lower.
and not go lower.
Okay. Well,
Because this issue has been discussed at length for the last multiple months.
Yeah.
In the public.
Ask for more.
True.
Yeah, so we're, in essence, they didn't ask for more, so in essence, we're just putting it into the budget prematurely before all discussions, which
It's pretty much true.
yeah, I think it's fair to hear from multiple different outside agencies. Like I said, I'd do this the same. Doesn't matter who it be.
And part of my thinking again is similar to the rifle shotgun issue, is to clarify it so we can put it to rest so that the staff and the board can focus on other issues. This is a very important issue. I won't turn this into, I have a lot of reasons why I feel very strongly about this. But I want to set all that aside. I hope it's not, this is, public libraries should not be partisan. I will say that. But I think we should address it and get it off the table. And because there's a lot of other issues that we're going to hear from, and this may have been, I don't know, I don't keep exact count, probably one of the issues, if not the issue I've heard the most on. It's one of the last 4 issues that I've gotten the most feedback, conversations. Literally, again, 2 days ago, going to my mailbox, young mother walking her baby in a stroller and saying that her goal is to read 1,000 books before her child goes to kindergarten. And this is a young mother who has my opponent's yard signs in the last 2 elections in her yard, et cetera. This is truly a nonpartisan issue, et cetera.
Further discussion? Commissioner Ward?
I definitely want to hear from Selco how they're running and what they're doing and everything. And where the funding, because it's a multi-county organization. So I guess I'm not ready to commit to a dollar amount in our budget yet. Till I figure out what they're doing or how they're doing it, or, you know, is it efficient? Is it, you know, best use of taxpayer dollars? Because it is more than what we're required by statute to provide. So I guess I would vote for half the motion to hear the presentation, but I don't know that I want to
Yeah,
set
that's
a
right.
dollar amount
Yeah.
yet.
I just,
Commissioner
I
Vega?
just,
Oh, sorry.
no,
No.
you know, I know what you meant.
That's good. Because I didn't cut you off this time, please.
Yes, yeah. No, you're forgiven. That's good. No, it's a cart in front of the horse, and I'm sure everybody, all these outside agencies would love to have us to commit to something early. So we're setting a precedent that I think is a little bit unfair to everybody else. And again, has nothing to do with the library. It's just, I got a difficult time doing that. I would love to hear a presentation from Selco. Obviously my city has one of the libraries, right? So it's not that I'm against it, but I just don't want to set precedent to start doing things like that. So I'm gonna deny it I'm gonna say no based on that. But I guess if we freeze it and that does pass, I don't know. It would still be interesting to hear how the money goes, even though I got a pretty good idea, but it would, I guess, lessen the need for that. So on a case point that it would discount anybody else that comes in to try to make a presentation when we just pass something blindly. So it's the cart is in front of the horse in this situation. So I'm going to vote no, just based on that.
Are we ready to vote? Okay, Commissioner Bagley has moved that we have a presentation and also that we freeze the Selco library funding at last year's level and not go below that. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay.
Nay.
Okay.
Okay, motion does carry. Okay, item 7.3, discuss acceptance of wooden American flag for display in the boardroom. Commissioner Ward, do you have something to share?
I don't have anything new. Oh yeah, the flag's here. Those that didn't see it.
And it may not be in the boardroom based
Well, it
on
could
what
be out
the,
in yeah,
what
depending
the
on
rules are.
Yeah, you know, somewhere where people can see it. I was gonna put it in my garden, but I don't have very many visitors to my garden. I live on a dead end township road.
Also, I think it'd get rained on and
Well, it's heavily lacquered and if you spray it every couple of years, but this is made by a local gentleman from Wilson. He makes these flags and we were just gonna give it to the county as a 250th birthday. I thought it was cool. But he wants to order, I have his contact information.
it's a commission.
Yep, she gets a 10% cut.
I want to see the receipt and if you charge sales tax.
Wherever you know, Aaron feels we could hang it, it's not super heavy or anything.
especially if there's a rule that says it can't, I don't know.
Yeah, something about a flag, yeah.
Can't have the flags
No,
have
you
to
can
be
take
together.
that one down. Take that to the window.
So is there an action? on
Madam
that,
Chair,
or-
did you want Mr. Lippy to address anything regarding the flag?
Do we want to hear about the location?
If he did any homework or has anything to share, I mean, I leave it to his.
And then I think
sister.
we do need a motion
Yeah.
to accept it
The
if we're
only-
going to do that.
The only issue it is on here, it is written as display in boardroom. So if it can't be in the boardroom,
Oh,
we
okay.
can't work
I'm
off this. We can't work off.
You just change the
We
motion.
would have to change the motion. It can't just be 7-3.
Anyway, please,
Or the public can see it, I guess is.
Mr. Lippy.
Oh, So if we do display it in the boardroom here, since we already have the flag, or they call it the fabric flag, since that is considered artwork. We can't have it near any of, behind the podium or anything else. We could maybe put it on the back wall or else out in the lobby,
I like the back wall.
but it can't compete with that flag.
The real.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Commissioner Bagley?
I'll move to accept the wooden flag donation and have it placed
Yeah.
where it's most appropriate.
Right. And then
Second.
we did give Aaron some kind of little plaque that says and lists our names
Oh,
that
you
was
got it?
donated.
You did it?
Good on-
We
Yep.
gave him some suggestions.
Oh, okay.
So I looked at a quote and it came back fairly high, so I need to get some other quotes.
You can we got some nice graphics.
That's fairly high.
$200.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
right.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no. No, I'm not gonna spend 200
No,
bucks for a
that's-
More than the
flag.
flag.
Yeah, more than I paid for the flag.
So, yeah, that's why when we got it back today,
You
we
can
know
just
we have
even
to
print
go
something
elsewhere.
nice on a piece of paper and put it in a frame and hang it below it. I mean, it doesn't need to be anything.
There should be cheaper quotes, Tom's Lock Service or others. There's gotta be cheaper.
Yeah.
For small signage, small
Yeah.
placards.
Okay,
Yep.
so
Okay.
Commissioner Bagley has moved, Commissioner Olson has seconded, accepting the flag and displaying it where it is most appropriate. Is there further discussion?
Commissioner Ward, what was the total cost again?
120,
So that would be $25 from each of us, is that right?
yeah,
If people chose to make a donation to offset the cost. of it.
right. If you don't donate, I won't put your name on a plaque. That's easy enough. Not gonna put your name on a plaque if you don't donate, right?
Careful the
Let's
precedent
play
you're setting.
Hard ball. I've already paid for it.
All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. We move on to committee reports and communications. So Commissioner Bagley, you had a comment.
I want to start off by, I guess, clarifying the canvas board. Will that come up at a future meeting?
It'll be on the next.
Okay,
Yeah.
in terms of who's going to serve on
It's
that,
on the
because
14th.
there's not much time because we meet on August 11th, right?
Yes,
Right, Chelsea?
yes.
Yeah, that's why I was just giving you a head up.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Secondly, I want to thank Sheriff's Deputy Josh Murphy. He invited me for a ride along about a week and a half ago. It was a very eventful night. There was an accident out past Ridgeway. County sheriffs responded, state patrol, Ridgeway Fire and Rescue, a medevac helicopter came from Toma. I want to thank all of our sheriff deputies, our dispatch staff, everybody, state patrol, the ambulance, because I was just sitting and watching and observing. It just reinforced the need for us to have a well-supported, well-funded, professional dispatch center and emergency services in terms of it was basically a 13-year-old driving us side by side, and then it turned into this snowballing effect of 2 accidents. But I want to thank Deputy Murphy for inviting me along. And I guess I'll just leave it there because I think that we made it clear that I think that all the board members said in some degree that we want to keep the city and county together at the law enforcement center, but I want to say it again and again so that it's heard by community members, because I've seen former Mayor Jerry Miller twice in the last couple of weeks, and the first thing he says to me is not, "Hi, how are you?" Is, "Can't you get the city and county to work together?" And I say, I agree with you. You got to talk to your city council members, et cetera. So I want to state it again and again that I think the best use of taxpayer dollars, the biggest bang for the, small amount of investment is to keep us together. So that's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Olson.
Yeah, just reiterating again on the fair success. I just want to bring that up once more in case anybody didn't hear about that, and just, glad to hear the 4-H attendance is up again, and just, we had a really good safe fair. So the other one, I just wanted to extend our condolences to Izzy Tim family. Sheriff Gandry brought that up tonight, and just doing a little research quick. So, Cindy, her daughter obviously is very active in the community, and Izzy was very active in the community, and she was always a bright, smiling face to see around. So, condolences to their family. That's a loss of a great person and a resource in our community. So, that's what I have for right now.
Commissioner Ward.
Just a reminder, next week, Wednesday, August 5th is Family Night on the Farm.
Oh,
And
thank
it's out
you.
at
That's
the
the other Yeah.
Barkheim Farm. It's it's a Lewiston address. You can look on the Chamber of Commerce coordinates everything. And I know they're taking buses from Stockton School or
Yeah,
you-
they've got it,
they
yeah,
always have limited parking, so you can catch a bus and get dropped off right at the front door too.
the
So,
school and city hall are together, so it's
yeah, it's-
up, can park there, and I think they're gonna drive up the hill
yeah,
to
but
Marquette.
usually a good opportunity to see agriculture, see a farm. They go to, these farm families go to a lot of work to, pristine, landscape, yards, flowers, and then there's always a number of vendors and that you can see all the animals and see a working farm. So it is an opportunity if you don't have experience with farm dairies, it's well worth it. And you can have a hot dog and root beer floats and things like that. A meal is served if you want to purchase that. So thank you.
Archives, yeah.
Uh,
Jason was a classmate of mine.
I wanted to give a committee update on the Emergency Coordinating Council, and in case I don't get all the details right, I would like to ask Ben to just give the update. He talked this morning, he gave us an update on what's going on with the dispatch center.
All right, so at this morning's committee, I just gave a update on where we're sitting with Rice Steel and hiring and all that stuff. So after you guys approved the MOU, we started working with Rice Steel. They've been providing a dispatcher since July 11th, I believe was the date we started. We were able to, with our staffing schedule, overlap through August 1st, so we didn't just have a cold flip the switch and hope everything works. So we've been testing stuff, training their dispatchers. All of our dispatchers have done a great job stepping up, helping train those dispatchers. At the same time, I've been working with HR. We've done approximately 15 interviews since the last board meeting. Invited many of those candidates to do sit-alongs in the dispatch center and move some on to background. Still taking applications, have interviews scheduled in this week and next week. Did make one job offer to somebody who had interviewed prior to us starting this. So hopeful we'll be up to 8 dispatchers here in the next month. Obviously, the one we hired will have to go through the 4 to 6 month process. And then hoping to hire out of this group of interviews and backgrounds to get our numbers up. Working on a training academy, which was part of the stuff with Rice Steel, so that we can train multiple dispatchers at one time, which is becomes a challenge when you only have so much of your staff here. But working with the staff we do have, and they're working on this training program with me, so using them as subject matter expert.
Did you tell me that dispatchers from Rice Steel County are here?
So this week, as part of the training with them, they're dispatching from our center for 2 reasons. One, so they can interact with the people they're going to be working with ahead of time to get that knowledge. And 2, dispatch centers are required to have an emergency plan always in case you have issues. So we had to revamp ours a little bit with working from 2 places. So part of our plan, if that link would ever go down, would be for their dispatchers to come here until that link was fixed. So we wanted to test things like passwords and all of that stuff ahead of time. So, yeah, they
So they're
are.
here. A couple of them are here this week.
Yeah, the ones that are working with us will cycle throughout this week. So they'll all have spent their shift here instead of in Rice Steel this week.
And can I just add, I want to thank Ben for all the work you've done above and beyond in terms of helping this dispatch center mesh with that dispatch center. Thank you for what you're doing. I check in with Ben every now and then for updates and how things are going. There must be 3 of you. I don't know how you sleep. Thank you for what you're doing. And I hope that we can, at the next meeting, we're going to have other pieces of the puzzle, or sometime soon, hopefully, because we can act quickly and decisively to get this problem fixed. So thank you for what you're doing.
Well, I think we need to say thank you to Rice Steel too, because they're going a little bit out of
Yeah,
their way to
they're-
help out because they do have
Is
capacity.
there a formal way we can do that?
Well, we can send them a thank you card.
No, I'm serious, a way to formally thank them. Yeah.
I'm going out there in a couple weeks. I'll take donations for Blade-O's everywhere I go.
There you go.
If I go with Blade-O's, they usually,
That's leftover
they
cookie, Derek.
usually
Oh,
are
should
good.
do it.
No, I think we should do a card.
Yep.
hard
Yeah.
for both
Just something a little more formal.
them and for our staff.
Yeah.
In terms of what they've been doing during this transition period. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think enough can be said about how our staff has really stepped up to help with all of the dispatchers doing their part, helping teach these people, helping me find issues in our plan, and not only finding the issues, but a solution to, there's always unknown stuff you see when you jump into something, and the staff's been really
Please
good.
take good notes and document, so
God.
if it happens again, somebody
SOP,
can learn.
SOP. Yep, no, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's the emergency manager.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Is there a second? Commissioner Elsing has moved to adjourn.
Second.
Olson seconds. Further discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
All right.
Josh, thank you.
Oh, Jason Barker. Yeah, we were classmates.